Alright, so post-session video, yet another Odyssey of the Dragonlords inspired one. Um, this one has heavy-duty spoilers for Odyssey of the Dragonlords, so don't watch this if you don't want spoilers. There are three trials that need to be completed before the campaign can progress. One of the trials is going to the Necropolis at Telemark. And the Necropolis of Telmach has this tremendous map. It is big, and I wanted to use the map even though there really isn't a lot of combat in this area, if any. Mostly because I thought it was a great map, and it's a lot of work to get this map to work in Roll20 because the original map was drawn diagonally by hand and didn't line up with the grid correctly. So to actually have the map working in Roll20 was pretty exciting. But as you can see, this is a big map. And the map is also dynamically lit on top of everything else. And none of that seemed to be a problem until, of course, I went to use the map Monday night. And it wouldn't load. It wouldn't load for me. It wouldn't load for the players. When it did load, it was laggy. It was a mess. I had this map prepped months in advance. I tested the map. The map worked, but when it actually came down to needing the map to work, the map did not work. Very frustrating. So I had my GM stuff hidden on the map. I had everything here that I needed. All this good stuff. It was ready to go. I wanted it to work. I wanted everything to be, to show them the scope and the scale of the place and let them explore with their miniatures at their own pace, to be a bit more immersive. It was a roleplay and lore heavy session, so I did want them to have something to grab and move around and actually feel like they were there and exploring the map. It just didn't happen. I also wanted there to be snow on this map too, but I wasn't about to try to throw an animated texture on top of this huge map. So what ended up happening is they explored about half of it with the map being super janky and everyone having trouble getting things to load and run and all that. And we were theater of the mind again and all that. And it occurred to me in the end that I should have just done like a travel brochure scene setting type setup from the get-go. So we took a break, and then during the break, I whipped up a an alternative, right? A nice small map that had the map, had the snow falling on the map, had this cute little "you are here" doodad, so that they could see, as they progressed around the map to all the different areas. Any NPCs that they ran into, flavorful images, that sort of stuff. And in the end, this was all I needed. I didn't need a 150 by 80 map with dynamic lighting and all that other craziness. This was the absolute perfect thing that I needed. So I guess this video is about thinking through an encounter and what do you really need. Like, if they had gone into a tomb and started a fight, I have plenty of tomb maps that I could have made on a different tab, and we could have just done the maps there and then come back to the exploration map. Which I guess brings me to where I'm at with this. Sometimes an area, despite being a dungeon, is actually more of an exploration area than it is a dungeon. For something like that in the future, I'm really going to look harder and say, hey, is this more about like exploration and discovery and lore and role playing? If so, I could do something like this. If it is something dangerous where they're placed actually matters, there's traps, there's obstacles to overcome, then I'll try to make an actual gridded battle map work. But yeah, sometimes the technology doesn't work out. Sometimes in an IRL game, you go to your friend's house to run the game, and you forget the boss miniature or some other important set piece or visual aid that you needed. you just have to adapt. You just have to go with it. So I was excited to come back from our halfway break and have this nice sort of postcard of the necropolis for them to interact with. And it allowed us to stop stressing out about whose computer was running correctly and whose browser was crashing and who could see the map and who couldn't see the map. And it allowed us to get our focus back on what was important, which was the heck amounts of lore drops and exploration and discovery that were going on. So that's all I got. But it was a big lesson learned for me, so I thought I would share it. All right, I'll see you in the next video.